In this opening slide, I want to set the stage by explaining that the pump is much more than an aesthetic bonus. We'll look at how nitric oxide expands blood vessels and why this matters for performance. Rather than just chasing a fleeting feeling, you'll learn the science behind cell swelling, nutrient delivery, and the signaling pathways that encourage growth. My goal is to show that pump ingredients aren't just marketing fluff, they can actually support your training when dosed correctly. By the end of this talk, you'll know how to harness pump technology intelligently and avoid the common traps. Now let's move beyond appearances and examine what a pump really does. To help you follow the discussion, here's a roadmap of where we're headed. First, I'll define what a muscle pump is and explain basic blood vessel and smooth muscle physiology. Then we'll dive into nitric oxide, how it's produced, the pathways involved, and why citrulline often outperforms arginine. After that, we'll explore the performance benefits of vasodilation and identify which pump ingredients have solid evidence behind them and which ones don't. We'll compare acute versus chronic effects, discuss training strategies for maximizing blood flow, and show how to stack ingredients intelligently. Finally, we'll debunk some myths and summarize key takeaways. This structure will keep us focused as we move from concept to practical application. Have you ever finished a set feeling your muscles swell and wondered whether that sensation does anything besides look impressive? You're not alone. Many people assume pump products are all hype or that they're purely cosmetic. In reality, the temporary tightness you feel can influence how your body responds to training if you understand the mechanisms involved. In this section, we'll open up the debate and challenge the notion that pumps are meaningless. By the end, you'll have a clearer picture of whether nitric oxide boosters can actually enhance performance. With that question in mind, let's outline what we'll cover today so you can follow along and see how all the pieces fit together. When people talk about getting a pump, they're referring to two related events. First, there's cell swelling. Your muscle fibers draw in fluid during intense work, creating internal tension that signals anabolic pathways. Second, blood pools in the capillaries and veins surrounding the muscle, delivering oxygen and nutrients while removing waste. This combination feels tight because the fascia and connective tissues are stretching to accommodate the extra volume. Importantly, this isn't the same as inflammatory swelling after injury. Pumps are temporary and generally harmless. Understanding these two processes helps explain why pumps can contribute to growth signaling and performance, rather than being just a vanity metric. In the next section, we'll look at the structure of blood vessels to see how this expansion happens. To understand how pumps work, we need a quick tour of your vascular system. Arteries and veins aren't rigid pipes. They contain a layer of smooth muscle that can contract or relax to change the diameter of the vessel. Inside that smooth muscle lies the endothelium, a thin layer of cells that sense blood flow and release signaling molecules like nitric oxide. When these endothelial cells secrete nitric oxide, the smooth muscle relaxes, widening the lumen and allowing more blood to flow through. This dilation is what allows nutrients to be delivered quickly and waste products to be carried away. With the anatomy in mind, let's zoom in on nitric oxide itself and see how it actually induces vasodilation. Nitric oxide, or NO, is a gas that your body produces from the amino acid L-arginine using enzymes called nitric oxide syntheses. When blood flow increases or receptors on the endothelium are activated, these enzymes convert arginine into NO. The gas diffuses into the smooth muscle layer and activates an enzyme called guanylyl cyclase, which raises levels of cyclic GMP. This signaling cascade causes the muscle fibers to relax, widening the vessel and increasing blood flow. In this relaxed state, more oxygen and nutrients reach the working muscle and metabolites are cleared more quickly. Now that we know what NO does, we need to consider how the body makes it. The next slide will compare two major production pathways and why some supplements are more effective than others. There are two primary ways to increase nitric oxide levels. One is the endogenous pathway. L-citrulline is converted to L-arginine through the argininosuccinate cycle, and then nitric oxide synthase converts arginine into NO. Citrulline is particularly efficient because it bypasses the intestinal and hepatic metabolism that destroys much of the arginine you ingest. The second pathway comes from your diet. Nitrates found in foods like beetroot and spinach are converted to nitrite by oral bacteria, and then to NO, especially under low oxygen or acidic conditions. Both pathways contribute to vasodilation, but they operate differently, which is why certain supplements target one or the other. Now let's take a closer look at the debate between citrulline and arginine as pump ingredients. Although arginine is the direct precursor to nitric oxide, taking it orally isn't very effective because your gut and liver break down most of it before it reaches the bloodstream. Citrulline, on the other hand, bypasses these metabolic roadblocks and is efficiently converted back into arginine in your kidneys. This means that a dose of 6 to 8 grams of citrulline, often provided as citrulline malate, raises plasma arginine and NO levels more reliably than larger amounts of arginine. Arginine requires 4 grams or more per day just to modestly lower blood pressure and has inconsistent effects on strength and endurance. By understanding these differences, you can see why most pump formulas favor citrulline. Next, we'll explore the specific performance benefits you gain when your blood vessels dilate. Vasodilation isn't just about making your muscles look full, it has concrete performance advantages. When vessels widen, more oxygen and nutrients reach your working muscles, supporting ATP production and delaying fatigue. At the same time, the increased flow helps remove lactate and other metabolic byproducts, which reduces the burning sensation and allows you to push harder. Improved blood flow also aids thermoregulation by dissipating heat, reducing cardiovascular strain during intense efforts. Finally, the cell swelling that accompanies a good pump triggers anabolic signaling pathways that may contribute to hypertrophy over time. With these benefits in mind, let's talk about which ingredients actually deliver on the promise of greater vasodilation. Not all pump ingredients are created equal. The most well-studied is L-citrulline malate. Taking 6 to 8 grams about an hour before training raises arginine levels, increases nitric oxide production, and has been shown to improve strength and endurance. Dietary nitrates found in beetroot juice and similar extracts supply 316 to 985 milligrams of nitrate, which your body converts to nitric oxide and can enhance endurance and recovery. Glycerol at doses of 1 to 1.5 grams acts as an osmotic agent, pulling water into the blood to increase plasma volume, lowering heart rate and body temperature during prolonged exercise. And of course, adequate water and electrolytes ensure proper plasma volume and vascular function. Armed with this list, let's turn to ingredients that sound impressive but don't deliver. It's easy to get misled by flashy labels, but some popular pump ingredients simply don't work as advertised. High-dose L-arginine sounds logical but is mostly broken down by your gut and liver, so very little reaches your blood vessels. Proprietary pump blends often sprinkle tiny amounts of multiple ingredients without providing clinically effective doses of any one. Likewise, so-called pump pills that promise instant vascularity rarely contain enough active compounds to make a difference. Even well-supported ingredients can be misused. More than 10 grams of citrulline offers diminishing returns and may cause gastrointestinal upset. Understanding these pitfalls helps you avoid wasting money. Next, we'll look at how pumps behave in the short term versus over weeks or months. When you take pump ingredients, the effects occur on 2 time scales. In the acute windows minutes to a few hours after ingestion, you experience transient cell swelling and vascular dilation, peaking around 1 to 2 hours. This produces the classic tight, pumped feeling. Over weeks to months, repeated cell swelling may contribute to hypertrophy by stimulating protein synthesis and reducing muscle breakdown. Consistent supplementation with citrulline or nitrates can also improve overall work capacity and endurance. Meanwhile, training techniques like full range of motion and time under tension promote capillary growth, enhancing your body's ability to deliver blood. Keeping these timelines in mind helps you plan your supplementation and training for both immediate and lasting benefits. Now let's discuss specific training strategies to maximize blood flow. Your training style has a big influence on the pump. Performing higher rep sets, typically in the 10 to 20 rep range, with short rest periods maximizes metabolic stress and encourages blood to pool in the muscle. Slow eccentrics and continuous tension, where you never fully lock out or rest the muscle, keep blood trapped and amplify the swelling. Some athletes even use blood flow restriction techniques, like occlusion cuffs, to dramatically increase cell swelling. These should be used sparingly and with caution. Beyond exercise techniques, staying well hydrated and consuming sufficient carbohydrate supports plasma volume and muscle fullness, further enhancing the pump. Once you have your training dialed in, you can consider stacking ingredients to take things to the next level. A strategic approach to pump supplementation maximizes benefits while minimizing side effects. About 60 to 90 minutes before your workout, take 6 to 8 grams of L-citrulline malate and 316 to 985 milligrams of dietary nitrate, such as beetroot juice or extract. Adding 1 to 1.5 grams of glycerol with roughly half a liter of water increases plasma volume and helps regulate heart rate and temperature. Don't forget electrolytes like sodium and potassium to maintain fluid balance. The key is consistent use. Chronic supplementation fosters underlying vascular adaptations that enhance performance over time. Start with lower doses to assess your tolerance and adjust based on your response. Our final slide will address common myths and summarize the key points. Let's finish by clearing up a few myths and reinforcing what matters. More arginine doesn't guarantee a bigger pump, because the body destroys much of it before it can be converted to nitric oxide. Pumps are not just for vanity. Vasodilation improves oxygen delivery, waste removal, and thermal regulation. That said, the pump alone doesn't cause muscle growth, it's one signal among many. Also, don't believe claims that a single pill will give you instant vascularity. Timing and proper dosing are crucial. The big takeaways are simple. Nitric oxide relaxes blood vessels to support performance. Citrulline and dietary nitrates are superior precursors to arginine. Glycerol and hydration boost plasma volume, and smart training amplifies the pump. Use evidence-based doses and stack intelligently for sustained benefits.